getting posted when we do any. Yeah, hello, good morning, everybody. We are today in today's session. I'm going to cover accounts payable. We'll see the accounting entries, what are happening in various type of transactions, such as vendor invoice booking with purchase order, without purchase order, or the processing of payment for vendor invoices. Then, if we pay an advance to the vendor, then what is the accounting entry which is happening, right? And we'll also see certain vendor ledger. So these things we'll cover. Okay, and give a brief intro to my chartered accountant. I am also certified in SAP Financial SAP account, and I have published one article, and this session also we'll do like covering whatever is there in that article. So in that article, I am explaining SAP FICO as per the this profit and loss and balance sheet approach, where we'll see like this accounts payable are a part of current liabilities in the balance sheet, and how accounts payable entries when the company, any company prepares its balance sheet, then where does the accounts payable balances go and sit? Okay, so I'll just quickly begin with my this presentation, which is already available on LinkedIn. I have shared with you people the link for this also. So going into any entity's balance sheet, if you see the current liabilities, so under current liabilities, you will see the trade payable, and this trade payable is what we are going to cover today. And under trade payable, what we'll do, I'll in my presentation, topic by topic, I have given the details like some basic concepts and transaction codes and accounting entries. So we'll quickly see accounts payable. Okay, this is current asset section. Then we'll go to share capital, non-current liability, yeah, current liabilities. So here, the vendors from whom we procure any goods or services, those for related to those vendors, we are doing the accounting through the AP. And for any large organization, this is tied. This is tied up with the materials management module, like the entries for if we are receiving any goods or services, then we will do the GRN in the materials management module. And after the GRN happens, then based on that GRN, we will do the accounting for the vendor invoices against those GRN, right? So in this session, we'll see those also. We'll go to a purchase order. We'll see how the GRN entries are happening, and how the invoice entries are happening, right? All these things we'll see. So here I am giving you certain transaction codes. So first section, transaction code for master data. So those who have got experience into ECC or SAP versions which were there before ECC also, these were the transaction codes FK01, FK02, FK03. But now in S4 HANA, these transaction codes have got redundant, and new transaction code has come, which is the business partner. BP. We'll see this transaction also, because before we start with any accounting, we have to understand the master data, how any vendor master data look like in SAP, and what are the key attributes which are there in the vendor master. Then we'll cover few transaction codes like FB60, MIRO. FB60 is used for booking the vendor invoice without a purchase order, while MIRO is done with a purchase order. Similar transaction, like you are booking vendor invoice, but you are booking through the this purchase order route. If you have to give a credit note to the vendor, then we use FB65. There are these couple of transactions which are there for doing vendor payment. F110 is using the automatic payment run, where in a single go you can pay to multiple vendors, like hundreds of vendors you can pay. And you can also generate the file which you can upload to the bank portal from F110. But in this session, we will not be able to cover everything, but we'll touch upon how how F110 works practically. We'll do some vendor invoice booking, then we'll try to pay those vendor invoices and see what the accounting entries are happening. F-53 is a manual version of F110. So if like one or two payments you have to process, you can do from F-53 also, but recommended is F110 because F110 is a very like you can say it's a you can do it workflow based. Like one person can create a payment run, then other person can approve the payment run, right? And the accounting entries also get posted automatically when we do F110. That is why it is the recommended transaction. Then we'll move on some reports. FBL1N is the vendor ledger. FK10N is the vendor balance display, which we can display period-wise vendor balances. And F.42 is the vendor trial balance. Okay, MIR5, yes, any entries which are posted from Miro. For those, we can see those entries, the list of all these entries in MIR5. We'll also run quickly MIR5. Then these are certain concepts, vendor account group, reconciliation account, special GL indicator, which I'm going to explain you during the session. This reconciliation account and special GL indicator, these are very important topics. And these are also important from interview point of view. So you must have a knowledge of what is a reconciliation account and what is the purpose of a reconciliation account. Then special GL indicator will cover all this. And then these are the accounting entries which are happening. So when we do Miro or the vendor invoice against the purchase order, then this GRIR clearing account gets debited because this is the account which is used when we do the GRN. So when we do the GRN, then your entry at the time of GRN is inventory debit to GRIR account credit, right? Either inventory debit or if it is a expense purchase order or OPEX purchase order, then it will be your expense debit. Expense debit to GRIR clearing. When we are doing the vendor invoice, then we are doing debiting the GRIR clearing and crediting the vendor along with the entries of input GST and withholding tax. These also happen in the this transaction. Coming next is the vendor invoice without purchase order. So here there is no role of a purchase order, so directly we are doing to expense. So in this, we it is not possible to do any entries in the inventory. If you have to do inventory, then it has to be through the MM module, and all the invoices relating to inventory have to be done through MIRO. These are the entries for when we do the vendor payment. Either we do from F-53 or we do from F110. These are very simple entries. So vendor account debit and bank outgoing clearing account credit. So in these entries, if there is a cash discount also, which is given to any vendor according to the payment terms, all those things also get accounted here. But right now, we are doing very simple case because those needs a lot of configuration also, payment term configurations. And then foreign exchange revaluation, whenever it happens, then these are the entries which get posted. So we last time we had a detailed session on vendor this foreign exchange revaluation and how the unrealized gain, unreal and realized gains or losses are accounted. That article is published on my YouTube channel. So I can share the link after the session for that foreign exchange revaluation session also. You can watch it on YouTube. Then coming to the next slide here, in case it is a foreign currency invoice, then these are the accounting entries which happen. So we book the invoice and then when we pay at the time of payment, the foreign exchange gain or loss gets recognized. So this was a brief background. And now we'll move on to SAP and we'll see some practical entries. So before we start, anybody is having any questions, I'll be happy to take.
No, sir.
Okay, then we'll proceed. Okay, now you please tell me if you are able to see my screen in which I am displaying the SAP screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this is a demo environment, right? So in any demo environment, because there are a lot of people who are working in this demo environment, so it is bound to have some errors. So it is possible that there are some errors also with, we'll see. Especially, I was checking certain transactions regarding purchase order based invoice verification. I was facing some errors yesterday, but nevertheless, we'll cover the without purchase order transactions without any problem. Now, what I'm going to do, and also, yeah, before we begin, I'll show you something. If you go to this SAP menu, any, and it is the same for any entity or any SAP instance, you go to accounting. And this is how you can also more SAP. So if you keep navigating here under these tabs, you will see more and more detailed information. Like under accounting, we have financial accounting. We'll go to financial accounting. Then there are the sub modules of financial accounting: general ledger, accounts receivable, accounts payable. We'll go to accounts payable. Then here you see document entry, document, account, master record. All these things are coming in the menu. So you open document entry, then here it is showing FB60, which is my invoice booking without a purchase order. Then here other things are like this down payment. We do any advance payment to the vendor. And then the third box I am opening is outgoing payment. Outgoing payment is your, when you pay to the vendor. Periodic processing. Periodic processing has this F110, which we were talking about. Okay. And then a lot of other things are there, like reports. Okay, master record, we'll see FK01. These are now become redundant because now we have the BP. Okay. So this is how we'll see. And okay, you see account, then account FBL1N is there, FK10N is there. So these are your key reports for any vendor. Okay. So now before we post any transaction, we'll quickly see any already transactions which have been posted. So we'll learn something about those transactions which have been posted so far. So this is my sample company code which I'm using, and I'm running the open items. So open items means which is yet to be settled. Okay. And it will be settled in any future date. So here, if you see document type, under document type KR, we are seeing these entries, which are credit entries. And like if I double click any entry, then here you see the vendor, and here you see the GL account. Now, what is this GL account? This is the reconciliation account which we were talking about in the beginning of the session. And in this reconciliation account, this is what is put in the master data. When we create the vendor, then this GL account is there in the master data. We'll see in some time the BP master. So now what is the relevance of this GL account? So when what happens, like any entity deals in multiple vendors, multiple customers. It might be thousands if a large, if it is a large organization, thousands of vendors, thousands of customers. So when you run the trial balance of the company, then in the trial balance, if there are thousands and thousands of line items which are coming, then it becomes a very lengthy procedure to do any audit or prepare any accounts, because you will have thousands of line items in your trial balance. In order to avoid that situation, what happens when we make the trial balance of the company, then only this account is coming 200, 200. So this is the GL account, or we also call it the reconciliation account. So this is the account which will appear in the entity's trial balance when we run it. And all the vendors, like suppose 1,000 vendors have got this the same reconciliation account. All those 1,000 vendor balances get merged into this GL account. And when we run the trial balance, then 1,000 balances added together, aggregated together, they get displayed in the trial balance, not the individual vendor. So this helps me in maintaining a shorter amount of trial balance while all the information is available in the trial balance, but I see a single line rather than seeing thousands of lines. And this is whenever any entity is migrating from a legacy system to SAP. So this is one of the biggest advantage that people get, because in their legacy systems, in the entity's trial balance, there are thousands of line items, because all vendors, all customers, they are coming in the trial balance. But when they migrate to SAP, then they benefit with this SAP functionality of reconciliation account, because you see only single line in the trial balance. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll double click here and we'll move to the vendor master data. And when I press enter, then you see it is automatically navigating to BP. So this is the BPT code. Okay, and in BP, we'll see this is the display in BP role. So we create a business partner, and then we define the BP role, business partner role, to the business partner. So business partner can have two roles. One is it can be a supplier or it can be a customer. So accordingly, we can assign the roles to a business partner. So here you can see it's a supplier, automatically it's selected supplier. If it is a customer account, then it will show you customer account, but it is merged into the business partner. So one business partner can be both. It can be your customer also, it can be your vendor also. So now coming to the vendor master, these are certain key details. So vendor address, vendor name, these are coming here, and vendor email address. So whenever the automatic correspondence happens, it gets generated and it has to be sent to the vendor. Then in system reads that from this vendor master data, that which email ID it has to send the correspondence. Then other important tabs are this payment transactions. So this is highly important. So here we maintain the bank details. And whenever the files are generated from SAP, when we do F110, and then it is called DMEE. So in DMEE, we can configure according to the this bank requirement how a payment file should go. And when we run F110, automatically system picks up this bank account, and the payment will get deposited in this bank account, which is there in the vendor master. There is no manual intervention, right? So it helps in mitigating errors or frauds that can happen, because the payments are going seamlessly without any manual intervention. Okay, then there can be certain legal data. You can maintain vendor PAN number, GST number, these things also in the vendor master. Okay, and then yeah, here you see this is the vendor number which is associated with this business partner. So here you see the vendor number. Then we see here the vendor account group. Account, we can create multiple account groups according to our requirement. So in all the vendor reports, they can be run based on account group. Certain examples of account group can be if it is a foreign supplier or if it is a domestic supplier, or also companies maintain vendor accounts for their employees also, which helps them in the payment of the employee reimbursements. So, and then you can create vendor account group for statutory payments also. So this will help you in paying the statutory, like government vendors, GST or TDS, withholding tax, these vendors you create. Then those payments also you can do using F110. And you can see entire history of transaction in their vendor ledger. So it's up to the entity's decision how many vendor account groups it wants to create. So SAP gives you that flexibility. Now we'll go to this company code. So in this is the general section of any BP or vendor master, and then there is a company code specific section. So now I'm going here, and if you see here in account management, this is the reconciliation account. So this is the vendor master data which is there. You are applying some pen. Can you please stop that? Somebody is applying pen on the screen.
Sorry, sir, by mistake itself.
Can you erase it, please?
1 second, I will check.
Okay. So this reconciliation account is the account which we were talking a couple of minutes ago. And in this reconciliation account, when the trial balance is prepared, then this gets displayed. And this is what we define in the vendor master data. Okay. Then coming to vendor payment transaction, we define the payment term. Accordingly, when we do the automatic payment run, whatever vendor invoices are due according to the terms of the payment, those will get selected. Payment method, in how we can pay to the vendor, we can pay them by check, we can pay them by online transfer, so we can maintain the payment methods. Accordingly, it gets selected. When we run the payment run, these fields are very important. House bank, it can be blank, or it can be, you can put any house bank. So if you put a house bank, then the vendor, the when you pay to the vendor, then this, it will go out from this bank account, your bank account, entity's bank account. We are not talking about vendor's bank account here. We are talking about the entity's bank account. So if we, because suppose, like there are some high value vendors for that, because multi crore rupees of payment might be there at the time of purchase, and this payment might not be available in all the banks. So there can be some dedicated bank account to handle high value payments. So SAP gives you flexibility to put that house bank in the vendor master. So when the payment is processed, though that vendor's payment will be automatically processed from this house bank. Okay. Then there are some features, some fields we can put for withholding tax, so that automatic withholding tax deduction will be done from the vendor account. Right? These are certain key fields which are there in the vendor master. Now, what we will do, we will do some vendor invoice booking. Okay, I'll open another section and I'll go to this. I can navigate from here also, or I can put directly here the transaction code FB60. Okay, anything is okay. Both are same only. So we'll quickly navigate. Financial accounting, accounts payable, document entry, FB60. Okay, I'm going to change the company code when I am doing it. So here there is a setting, company code. You can put the company code here. Okay, and I'll do so here. Typically, according to industry practice, invoice date is the vendor's invoice date when the vendor is giving you the invoice, and posting date is the date current, basically the date when I am hitting my ledger. So if period is open, this can be backdated entry also. So posting date is highly important, because based on this date, the period is decided when when the my ledger is getting hit. Okay, so this is very important. So we can also pass this entry in a backdate. If you are not talking, can you mute yourself, please? So what we'll do, we are doing a sample posting. Okay, sorry, no amount authorization. There's some setting problem. I'll correct that setting. Because multiple people are using this SAP access, so get a lot of times we get this setting, because we do some setting, then somebody changes the setting. There are certain tolerance groups that we have to assign to every user. So this error is coming because of that tolerance group somebody has changed the tolerance group. So it is giving that error. This is a configuration change. I'm doing it now. All the configuration changes are very done in a very secured way, which you can see here. So there is a transport request which gets generated. Then it has to undergo a lot of testing. So, but not will not cover it in this session. But I was just telling you because we were doing that. Okay. Now it will allow me. So this, as soon as I filled this supplier number, date, it has already brought in my address and my bank account. Then there are other tabs here which I can fill. So this is the payment term which gets filled here. I can remove it also. Otherwise, it can create issues due to missing configuration. Baseline date, this is the date from which the payment term starts, right? It can be invoice date or it can be any further date. Like suppose when I have received the material, I want to start the payment from that date, then I can do that. Other tabs also are there, which you can see. See here, it is the GL account. Automatically, when I am doing the entry in this vendor account, 1 million, then the entry is getting posted in this GL account simultaneously. Okay. Withholding tax, if it is there in the vendor master, then it automatically comes here. Okay. Now I'll use some any expense GL account. Sorry. Let's post to rent, for example. Then amount here 13,100. We'll fill the text. Okay. Cost account. So it is because this GL account is a cost element, or it has to be the entry has to be done in the cost accounting module. We have to fill the cost center. That error system has given. Now we have filled the cost center and we'll simulate. Before passing any entry, it is a good practice to simulate an entry. So now we will be simulating. So you can see this is the entry which is getting generated. ITC retail shop credit. This is my vendor. Rent expense account debit and TDS on rent. This is the withholding tax. Automatically system has calculated. And now I am going to post this entry. When I post this entry, system will generate the document number. You can see here the document number is coming. Okay, we'll do document display. So, okay, now this is the posted entry. You can see rent account debit. From plus and minus, we can find out rent debit, vendor credit, and TDS credit. So this is FB60. Okay. Now after FB60, I am going to take you to any purchase order. So we'll go to ME23N, which is a display of a purchase order. And this is any example purchase order which is there in the system. So for this, the purchase order has been created. JSW Cement is the vendor supplier here. And in this purchase order, this I'm buying this material from this supplier, and 1,000 pieces. This is the purchase order, and 50 rupees for one piece. So these are the GRN which has happened. So for 5,000, I received these goods on 11 December. I'll go here. I'll go to document information and FI document. Here I will see the accounting entry of when I received my inventory. So here you see inventory. Inventory account is debited 4,000 and GRIR clearing credited. And cost price, this entry has happened because this has gone to price difference because this material would be on a standard cost as a standard cost in the material master. So whenever if there is a standard price control S or standard, then entries happen according to the price control which is there in the vendor master. So if it is a moving average price, then system takes the purchase cost directly to inventory. But if it is maintained on a standard, then it takes to your price difference account or cost price difference account. So right now it has taken here. So, but the entry relevant for us is this GRIR because we have bought 5,000 rupees worth of material from the supplier. Then another GRN has happened for 150. So similarly, 5,000, it has calculated the price. All these calculations it does automatically. Then this is my invoice entry. Yeah. So I'll click this. So this is when I do the entry from MIRO. Then this is the entry which happens. Okay. And when I click on follow on document, so here you can see what entry we were talking about in the beginning of the session in my presentation. So my vendor account is credited and GRIR account is debited. GRIR is nothing but it's a kind of a liability for purchase account. It's a balance sheet account. When my GRN happens, inventory debit to GRIR. Now, when my vendor invoice booking is happening, GRIR debit to vendor. Okay. We'll try to do one Miro, but it was yesterday I was trying, it was giving me error, but we'll see today also. So here, okay, let us see what is the company. We'll go to PO header and we'll go to org data. So here we see which is the company code. So here the company code is RDC1. So here in when you do MIRO, then you can click this edit and switch company code. You can do entry in the other company code. So let's try to do at least till simulation where level. If we are able to do, then at least I can show you how the entry looks like. So you see here this, okay, we'll close this and we'll open this. This is the purchase order history tab, which we are opening. So 7,500 rupees will be my amount. At present, I am not doing any entry for tax because this it needs tax configuration. So in this demo system, tax configuration is not there. Okay, we'll have to fill the business place here. Business place is relevant from taxation angle. We'll fill text test. Okay, so these are the, you will notice that these are the similar fields which were appearing in my this FB60 also, right? Because these both transactions are similar only. Only thing difference is FB60 you do without a purchase order, but MIRO you are doing with a purchase order. All these things are coming, payment, baseline date, details, right? Now nothing is selected here because I have not filled the purchase order number. The moment I fill the purchase order number, it will fetch the vendor, it will fetch other details from the purchase order. Let me fill the purchase order number now. This is my purchase order number. I'll control C, control V here, enter. So now you see it has automatically fetched the information. Earlier the vendor was not coming. Now vendor is coming. JSW Cement. Details we go. Okay, here it is showing tax code. Okay, now I'll put this tax code FD. So this tax code is your indirect tax or your input GST. Okay, that is what we have put here. Because whenever you purchase any goods, there has to be input GST. Okay, it is giving an error. Give baseline date. Baseline date already we talked about. It is the date from which the invoice due date is calculated. So whatever payment terms are there in the vendor invoice, those in those payment terms, those number of days are added to the baseline date to arrive at the payment due date. So here we see balance has become zero. This is what is important. If the balance is not zero, system will not allow you to post. So here you can see when I fill the purchase order number, system has automatically brought the GRN that what invoice is due for invoice processing, line items which are due. So it has brought it. It has brought this 150. 150 is the quantity, 7,500 is the value. Okay, but still I'm getting error message because here I'm seeing a red color. If I click on error message, so it says error in determining posting key account key FRS. So this is your tax. So there are some missing tax configurations because of which we are not able to post. And when I simulate, then you will see this accounting entry is getting proposed by the system. So you will see here GRIR account debit and JSW cement or vendor account credit, right? So this is the same entry which we saw earlier also. So this is how it will get posted. But right now, I will not be able to post because of this red error messages. Otherwise, here when I simulate, after simulation, there is a post button which comes here. But we'll not be able to do it because of this error. I just wanted to show you. Now we'll go back. Do you want to post? No, posting is not happening. And we see these are the invoice document numbers. Okay. Now I'll go to MIR5, which I was saying I'll show you. In MIR5, you can see all the invoices which are posted in any entity code. You can fill a lot of information, like you can fill posting date range, you can fill fiscal year. But if you don't fill anything, it will show you everything. So I am just showing here RDRCD1 in this company code, how many invoices. Okay, there is only one invoice which got posted. So it shows you everything. Where invoice document number, this is my FI document number. Okay. Then document type, document date, posting date, and all these things are coming here. Invoicing party. So we'll put, if I keep this company code also blank, and if I execute, it shows me the entire list, whatever entries have been posted so far. This is a very useful report, MIR5. It will give you all the information about the invoice which has been posted. And the good part is it is very easy to navigate from here. I'll just click on this button and it will take me to the vendor in a, sorry, this MIRO document which I got posted. Okay, MIR5, you can make a note of this report and you can use this. Now, what we'll do is we'll go to our vendor, back to our vendor. I'll do list refresh. And here we see that this is the entry which we have posted so far. All these entries are coming as open items. Okay. What is the difference between open items and cleared items? So open items is something which is due for settlement in a future period. It will be settled by payment or by issuance of a credit note or any other way. Like there is a, you have given a vendor advance and you want to adjust it against an advance. Yes, that is also possible. That also we can do. But today we'll do one payment run for this, right? So for doing payment run, what we'll do, and you will see that this document number 12,838, we are going to pay this. And after we pay, then this red color status is coming, which is the status for open items. So it will disappear from open items after we do the payment, and it will come in the cleared items, which we'll see now. Okay, I'll just double click this. We'll see this accounting entry. And this is the accounting entry which we posted some time ago. People are using some pens. Please don't do it. Otherwise, this session, other people get disturbed because of these pens. Okay, please don't do that. Now, what we will do F110. Okay, F110 is my payment run. So in this F110, there are three steps, which we'll see now. First, we have to fill the parameters. Then we have to run the proposal, and then we have to execute the proposal. We'll see that. It is possible to run multiple payment runs in a day. You can run 50, 100, whatever number of payment runs, system doesn't restrict. Each payment run has got a unique run date, the date when I am running, and identification. You can put anything in the identification. It can be a alphanumeric key, it can be a number or anything. Like if I want to put 001, okay, I can put 001. If I want to say put A01, I can put A01. This like if suppose there are multiple people who are running payment run during a day, they can put their name initials also. Like PB1, we can put, or other, any other person is there, AP1. So if suppose one person is running multiple payment runs during the day, we can do AP1, AP2, AP3, so that you can identify that which payment run I have run during today. Okay, with a combination of run date and identification. This gets stored forever in the system, the entire history. Now, what I am going to do, I have filled this run date, I have filled the identification. Now I'll go to parameters tab. So here I'll put the company code for which I'm going to pay. I'll put the payment method. These are some mandatory fields. And I will put the next payment date. So that is when I'm going to do the next payment. So if we put this as a future date, so like 12 January, I have put here. So whatever invoices are due until 12 January, because system will understand now my next payment run will happen on 12 January. So all invoices which are due till 11 January will get paid. Okay. So now what we'll do in this vendor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the net due date column. Net due date. So here it is there. So I'll bring it here. So we'll see when are these payments due. So for the example, this payment is due immediately, 31/12. All these payments are already due. Okay, so let's run for this supplier. We can put here multiple suppliers. There is a multiple selection option. And if we don't put any supplier, then it runs for everything, whatever is open in that entity. But good as a good practice, we can put the suppliers. Otherwise, there is a risk that you pay a wrong person. Okay, although you can do a thorough checking of this payment run, but still, why to take a risk? So I'm putting here the supplier. Okay, so it's very simple. I'm going to save it. Now there are other tabs also here, which at present we will not discuss, but I'm just showing you. We can further filter out uh, these free selections, like if there is a payment clerk which is there in your company, so you can use this field name of payment clerk here. Then in the vendor master you can define there are hundreds of vendors and people have distributed that I will handle this vendor, then payment clerk details can be added here. We can put here house bank and many other fields SAP will give. So we can put here, it does further filtering for that information and it will run the payment run. Then this is very important, data medium payment. So whatever variant we are selecting here, when we after we run the payment run, it will prepare the DMEE file automatically. But for that we have to do certain settings. Okay. Right now we'll do very simple one. So what I'm going to do, I'm checking it. Okay, it is saying, do you want to save the data? I'll say yes. So you see here, this green button has come. It says parameters have been entered. I can go here. I can change the parameters. No, not an issue. Now, this was step number one, filling the parameters. Step number two, executing the proposal. So I've clicked on proposal here. I'm clicking on start immediately, and I'll click on tick. So now it is running me the proposal. So yeah, okay, it is now. Second dot is also green. It says payment proposal has been created. Now I'll go to display proposal. So it is giving me some error. Okay, because it is this red color I'm seeing here, exception. I can double click this and I can see these are the entries which are there, which have been picked up by the system. Okay. And if we only want to pay what we have posted today, so then this is the entry. What we'll do is we'll go back here. We'll go back and we'll edit proposal. Tick. We'll double click this and we'll for other entries which we don't want to pay, we are going to put a payment block that no, I don't want to pay this. I'll put a payment block here, and we'll pay only that entry which we want to pay now. So we can do blocked for payment A or manual payment block. There are multiple things which are possible. We can put A here and we can put this tick. So the first line, it has been blocked for payment. We'll only pay one invoice, which is this one. Let me bring this amount column forward, and we can save our own layout so we don't have to do this again and again. Okay. And second one also. A tick. I'm going to save it. So all these are blocked except for this one. Now we'll see if still there is an error. Okay, or we'll edit the proposal. Again, I'm clicking this. Okay, so here now you see the amount is coming, payment amount. Okay, still it is coming 9 lakh. Okay, I'll do one more thing. So there is also possible to delete the proposal. Okay, I'll delete this proposal. Delete proposal. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'll go here and all these invoices. I'll select all these except for the last one, and I'll go to mass change in FBL1, and you can do mass change also. And I'm going to put a payment block here for all these invoices. Okay. Block for payment. Only the last one I'm setting it as free. Rest everything I'm putting blocked. Then whatever is blocked for payment, it will not come in F110. So like right now, what we were seeing, the error which we were seeing. Okay, I think it is not picking up this document because there is a debit balance of 40,000 which is there, and my invoice is only for 12,000. So it has shown me an error. So maybe this is the reason it is not picking up this invoice for the payment point of view. Okay. Okay, I have understood this. So what we can do, this is an advance, some down payment has been done. Let us try if we can, again, we can do proposal. So earlier you saw some 9 lakh rupees was coming in the proposal. Now we have done the blocking, and we'll see how much is the amount now system is proposing. Okay, still it is proposing 9 lakhs. Okay. Okay, let me use another vendor because that vendor we are getting certain error. We'll use another vendor. In this vendor, yesterday I have done some down payment of 45,000 rupees. So what I'll do is I will reverse my entry. Otherwise, it might give some error in this also. And after we complete this activity of F110, I'll show you the down payment. Okay, this session 5 more minutes are left in this session. We'll try to cover in 5 minutes. So now I have reversed this document, okay? FB08, I'm reversing this. So it has been reversed. Now what I'll do, I'll post one FB60 in the second vendor. Vendor is only one, so it will propose only one line item for the F110. When you do practically, then if it is a demo system, then you face a lot of challenges because there are a lot of people who are working on the demo system. They do their own R&D. Okay, here we are, another FB60 we have done. So we'll post Control S, saved, entry saved now. We'll do FBL1N and vendor I have now this, it's a different vendor now. So yeah, okay, it is coming here. Now we'll go to F110, F110. We will go to edit proposal, delete, delete proposal, yes. I'm going to go to parameters. I'm going to change the vendor in the parameter. So yes, I've changed it. I will save it. I'll go back and I'll run the proposal. Now it will run the proposal according to the new selection criteria. Okay, I'll go to display proposal. Yeah, see now you see everything is green because now this is a very simple, there are no advances, nothing is there. So it is simple. And if I go here, it will show me the amount. It will show me 7,500. So earlier you saw if I double click this, then it will give me the line item wise breakup. So now it is only one line item. Last time you remember, we saw a lot of other line items, but now we are seeing only one line item. Next step. So we'll go here. If we have to edit the proposal, we can edit. But otherwise, if we are satisfied, then we'll go to payment run. And payment run, if we click on this tick, now payment run is running here, it is saying. And payment run has been generated. It Whatever number of payments are posted, it will show you the number here. If there are 10, it will show you 10. If there are 100, it will show you 100. Right now it is 1, so it is showing me 1. So I'm navigating to the FBL1N screen. So you see here, it was coming as an open item. Now I'm going here, I'm going to list refresh. Now it says no item selected because that 7,500 has been paid. It has shifted from open items to cleared items. Or if I run all items, then I can see those documents. So there is this clearing document number which has linked those two documents. So this is the clearing document number 7,500 we can see here. So this is the entry which we did when we booked the FB60. Now this KZ, this is the entry which system has passed when we have posted the F110. So you can see here ITC retail vendor account is debited and bank account is credited. So this is the entry which has happened. So bank credit, vendor debit, double click this. Again, it has gone to the same GL account. Okay. So in F110, there is one feature here. Like if you go here, environment and payment orders and display. So it will show me what payment has been processed. No, not this. There is one more system environment. Like if you want to see what all documents have been processed in this payment run, you can display that. Okay, we otherwise we'll see there is in this it comes here. Okay, but in the interest of time, we'll move on. So yeah, you people understood this. So this is the KZ document and vendor account got debited. And when I am running this all items, then it is showing me it is coming here under the green dot. Okay. Okay, fine. Very quickly, we are going to cover vendor down payment also. And what we'll do is there is a transaction code where by which we can pay advance to a vendor and we can pay it in a special GL indicator. It's 10 o'clock, but let's because we started session 5 minutes late, so I'll try to cover in 5 minutes the concept of special GL. So special GL indicator is something which we can do the posting in the vendor, but the entry doesn't go in the reconciliation account which is maintained in the vendor master, but it goes to an alternative reconciliation account. So if you go back to my presentation in the this PowerPoint presentation, then under current liabilities, I was showing you the vendor trade payable. But if there is a vendor advance, it doesn't go to trade payable. It goes to current assets or advance loans and advances account, which is reported under my asset side of the balance sheet. So while the entry has been posted in the same vendor, but we can show, we can see it in a different set of GL account. So that is what we are going to check now. So I'm going to do one down payment to one vendor. There is a special GL indicator A for that. So very quickly I'll do. So suppose I'm paying 10,000 as an advance to my vendor. Okay. Okay. Amount, tolerance range entered for company code ITC1. These tolerance problems are happening again because this is a demo system. So a lot of people R&D here. I'll check this. Okay, I'll do this setting. See, somebody changed it again. I was using, I did ITC1, somebody changed it. Okay, back. Now it will allow. Okay, we'll restart the transaction. Okay, an entry is required in the value date. Okay, fine. We'll put value date, current date, and we'll put text. Okay. So now this 10,000 and 10,000. So now I'll show you something here. So you see here in this vendor, earlier when we did the FB60, then the GL account was 200, 200. But now you see the GL account has changed. So when I run the trial balance for my company, then these two balances, which is one is advance, one is payable, they will appear under separate accounts. I'll show you. So this I'm going to post it. So bank account credit, vendor special GL indicator account debit entry is posted. We'll very quickly we'll do one more FB60 so that I can show you in the trial balance also how it looks like. It is important to see in the trial balance also. So here the amount we will do 23,000. Okay, it is now giving the message that my there is some advance which is there. Okay, again this tolerance problem has come. Okay, I'll have to go to SP. Sorry for the delay. Just give me 5 minutes. We'll cover this one more posting and I'll show you the trial balance and then we can end the session. Okay, done. Okay. We'll do FB60. Okay, simulate. Simulate step is very important. Okay, some problem it is giving for cash discount. I'm removing it. Save. Okay, now what we will do FBL1N. So one very important thing I'm going to tell you in FBL1N, you see these tabs, normal items and special GL items. Okay, if I only select normal items, I'm going to see only one entry of that 23,000. But if I select special GL also, I am going to see the advance also. So you see here, 23,000 is the credit, which I have just posted. 10,000 is the advance. And this is the vendor. I'll go here. I'll also select here the GL, in which GL account it has got posted. So you can see here the different GL accounts will come. You see here 400501. The first entry is going in a separate GL account, second entry in a separate GL account. When I run the trial balance, it comes different separately. Now, this was FBL1N, and we'll do FK10N also. Quickly, we'll do how it looks like. So we execute. So this is how your FK10N looks like. So there is a cumulative balance 23,000. So this shows you period wise. So we are in January, which is period number 10. So it shows me here period number 10, 23,000 is my credit balance. I go to special GL. So special GL, there is a 10,000 rupees balance. So by this FK10N, you can analyze your vendor in a very quick way. How much is my balance? And when you go to F.42, F.42, we'll run this company ITC1 and we'll do normal balance and special GL balance. And we'll also click on vendor address. And when we execute, we'll see the vendor trial balance here. So you see here reconciliation account, supplier, special GL indicator A. So we were doing vendor number 1000001. So if you go here, then you see 23,000 is the credit and 10,000 is the debit. So I was talking about the reconciliation account in the beginning. So this F.42, it gives me the flexibility to select the reconciliation account for which I want to run the trial balance. It also gives me the flexibility to select the vendor account group here. If I go to this dynamic selections and I double click on vendor account group, then I can fill the account group. If I have multiple vendors, I can run these filters. I can filter on account group, I can filter on reconciliation account. So right now we will not do that. And when we are doing it, so it shows like this. Okay, and 23,000 and 10,000. So it is also possible in the bottom of the screen to configure your own layout. So it gives allows you configuration. You can select more columns here if you want to see. And also what we can do perform a subtotal at supplier level. Let me do that. Then what we'll see when we run the trial balance, we'll see the net balance also. So I've done it, and I will save this layout. Okay, I'll give any name to this layout. Test one, test one, and I'll remove this user specific. Save, layout is saved. And when I go here, I'll do a drop down. I'll go select this test one. and I'll run it. So you see it has done a subtotal now, which was not done earlier. So this in the trial balance, I can see the net balance at every vendor level. Total is 916. So if suppose just imagine you have thousands of vendors, then this is the transaction code which you can run. And if you don't want to see special GL balance, you remove this tick. Only normal balances will come. Okay. And if you don't want to see normal balances, you only want to see special GL, then you remove the tick from normal, put tick on special, and you can see only the special GL balance. Okay, this is how we run the vendor trial balance. So these concepts are very important for your interviews, your vendor ledger, vendor trial balance, okay, F110. You can do more practice, you can do more study on the subject, okay, and any questions you can come back to me or Anuradha. So with this, I'll bring an end to this session. We 5 minutes we overran, so sorry for that. So I'll stop sharing. So thank you, everybody. Anybody, any questions? We can discuss now, or you can also message us later on. Anuradha, you can stop the recording.